So I like to come into this with a bit of nuance. Given with the whole Jack Doherty situation happening and him smashing his car, right, like on a live stream, his way of acting has rubbed people the wrong way, right? I don't want to spend too much time on this because so many people have covered it to death. But to me, it's just like, you can easily say that this is a sign of society or the way the internet is or just how people are. And those are true and they'd be right. I just think that when we when we sit down and look into it, I feel that it won't change anything. Like it is another reason why people kind of hate streamers in general, where how they are and how they act and their mentality and their personality. And I think someone like Jack Doherty has always been a person like this. Prior before him coming to excessive amount of wealth. Maybe he was wealthy beforehand, I don't know. But I think for somebody like him that is very young, he was almost I think he's like 10 years younger than me actually, maybe less than 10 years. And given then how much wealth he has accumulated within a short period of time, this is the result of things that happen. And I have a bit of an opinion that may I think a lot of people would agree with, or at least they'll agree to some extent, that I do think the individual like him should not be allowed to gain as much wealth. Now, what I mean by that is they should be allowed to feed themselves, clean themselves, be able to gain certain access to luxury goods once in a while. But given the way they are and how they achieve that wealth, it's sort of like like a dangerous thing. Like expect him to keep doing stuff like that down the line. Expect him to not care, because for an individual like him who's able to gain wealth, that doesn't really matter. And even if we don't include wealth, right, just to say just sheer influence alone, it's still dangerous, right? You can attack this all you want, but like in the end, I think this is just a coming of things to be shown, and just really how things are gonna play out with a lot of these streamers. Like, come on, like, yeah, he wrecked his car, right? But easily he's probably gonna make so much money off of this, right? And all the drama and all this stuff that he's probably gonna make so much money that he'd be able to buy two or three of the same car back to back, right? And given that um, how he makes his wealth is through pimping these OF girls, right? Let's not deny that. Let's not deny that, right? It really is very disgusting. And I think there's only so much you can do in attack an individual because of this. Like, there people have been attacking him prior to this, but I think this is what tips off so many people. And for me, it's just like, I don't think a lot of these streamers really care, right? I don't think they really, really care that he crashed his car. They just wanted an excuse to really just, hone into to him as a person, right, without being called a hater. That's all what it is. And I myself to see it as like, there's really not much you want to talk about, and the only reason people want to talk about is more than this, right? Yeah, you can say that him giving the phone to the guy next to him who also was in the car when he crashed, who was probably even more injured than him, and telling him to keep recording or get my good. It's like it's messed up, but like I think people feed into it so much because of that. It just breeds more, and I think it also breeds into a lot of hatred towards streamers in general, or at least the ones we are seeing nowadays. But to me, they kind of just laugh it off and like he's just a dumb kid who did something really dumb. Or not, I mean, not really dumb. I mean, this is extremely dangerous, right? Let me correct myself right then and there, because I know someone's probably like, "Oh, he's just like," I mean, yeah, I know, but still, it's like they're, and as I said, everybody's just honing into it because then they just want to talk about all the other stuff about him, right? This is just an excuse. Which it's kind of sad because I feel like you didn't need an excuse where there's clearly evidence of other stuff he did. But I think these other people don't care, especially kind of the commentary community don't really care. To them, it's just like another story, another drama, the prophet. Or in reality, I just see it as like, I mean, this kid's morally corrupt. I don't think he should be allowed to have this much wealth on hand at any given time, right? Not saying that I mean, he should have the right to survive, to eat, to buy, stuff like that, the necessities. But if you keep giving this kid just excessive amount of wealth, he's just gonna go down or spiral. And maybe what, in a sixth sense, maybe that's the best for him. Maybe that do a downward spiral. Maybe he'll realize how much he messed up in life. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm cynical. Maybe I'm trying to come up with a nuanced point that like people want to hear, but I'm not sure. Well, until then, y'all, have a good one and be safe.